Hi, and welcome to Yoga Basics. I'm Patty, I'll be your instructor. Let's go ahead and start today by finding a comfortable seated posture. You can sit straight to the floor or to your mat if that's where you're most comfortable, or you can sit up on some blankets like I've got here, or you could even sit in a chair, wherever it's most comfortable for you today. Once you have found your seat, you're welcome to cross your legs in front of you if that's comfortable for you. And once you get them crossed, why don't you go ahead and uncross them and then cross them the other way. This way we don't develop one directional patterns in the body. Once you have found your new comfortable seat, find your breath. Find it first outside of your nose, and then you might feel it in your throat. And just notice what part of your body is responding as you're inhaling and exhaling. And also notice that when you place your attention on your breath, it begins to lengthen and deepen, and this is good. I'll invite you now to bring your hands to your heart in the prayer position called the Anjali Mudra in Sanskrit. And as you press your palms and your thumbs and your fingers gently together, pull your shoulders apart from each other. You're going to feel your heart lift and open. And as you feel your heart lifting and opening, take a moment and set an intention for yourself. Claim for yourself what it is that you want, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Take just another moment with this intention. And so it is. If you'd closed your eyes, blink them open, bring your hands back down, and let's get started. So joining me again today is Jessie. We're going to be working on a standing posture today, and the standing postures really depend on the feet, and they depend on the strength and the suppleness and the mobility of the feet to keep you balanced. So let's start by bringing the legs out. You can rock to release any tension that might have built up when you were cross-legged. And then let's roll out your ankles, making big, huge circles with your ankles. Go ahead and let your knees bend just a little bit, making the circles even wider. And if you can, try to get your toes to touch the floor. Yes, finding excellent flexion in the feet as you pull them back and extension in the feet as you point them forward. And then reverse the direction of your circles if you haven't already. And you want to fatigue your feet. You want to fatigue the ankles. That way you know that you've opened them up. You're also creating synovial fluid necessary to cushion and cleanse the ankles and the feet and the synovial joints. And then after the rolling of the ankles, spread your toes. The first time I tried to spread my toes in my yoga class a long time ago, I could not. So this was what my teacher had me do. So let's all do this. Bend your knees, take your hands and take your pinky fingers and slide in between the pinky toe and that next one, and then the next finger, and so on, until you're shaking hands with your feet. And then go ahead and do that. Excellent. Yep. I promise you're not breaking your toes. It can just be really tight, but you need your toes to have some movement to them, and they're going to help you with balance. After shaking hands with your feet, release the feet, bring your legs back out, and try and spread them again. You might have a little bit more room. And for some reason, if you eyeball your toes and stare at them, they'll spread just a little bit more. I'm not sure what that connection is, but it works. All right, so for the posture we're going to work on today, Vrikshasana or tree, we're going to start that posture on your back. So Jesse's going to come to his back with his knees bent. And once you get down onto your back with your knees bent, just let the floor accept your body. Take a moment, allowing yourself to rest into the floor. Now, Jesse's got some tight shoulders, which causes his chin to lift up a little bit. So I'm going to put a blanket underneath his head. Go ahead. So that we can get his ears, his shoulders, his hips, and his heels all on the same line. Then let's go ahead and bring Jesse into Supta Tadasana, and you at home as well, bringing your legs straight away from you. Tadasana is the primary standing posture, and we will bring this up to the feet in a moment. Supta, or supine, means reclining. So we're going to recline in Tadasana first. Reach both your heels away from you, pulling the toes back up towards your heart, and then bring your big toes so that they tip in just a little bit. This way, it's the inner edges of your thighs that are pressing down towards the mat. You're reaching the heel and the pads at the base of the big toe and the base of the pinky toe, those 3 points, away from you firmly. With the feet reaching away firmly, remembering to press the inner edges of your thighs down to the mat, tipping the big toes in just a little bit more towards each other. You're trying to get these 2 middle toes to face straight up and down. Then find your low back, and with your low belly, press your low back into the mat or into the floor, wherever it is that you're practicing. This is really important for the safety and the health of your low back. So keep the low back pressing as you reach those 3 points at the bottom of each foot away, pressing the inner thighs down so that the toes turn in just a little bit. And then let your hands reach for the outer balls of your ankles. Pinky fingers are down on the mat or the floor, the thumbs are facing up. So you've got the 3 points on each foot reaching away from you. The inner edges of your thighs are pressing down. Your low back is pressing firmly into the mat. Your fingers are reaching for the outer balls of your ankles. Now bring it up to your shoulders and pull your shoulders back to the mat as well. So you're bringing shoulders back to the mat and low back to the mat, and bring a little tuck to your chin so that you get some length in your neck. And breathe. Remember that part, most important part, ever and always back to the breath. So here is Supta Tadasana, or a reclining mountain pose. And we're going to turn this into a reclining tree. So Jesse, let's take your left knee and bend your left knee. And take your hands onto the front of that shin and pull the left knee into your belly. So we're going to get a little bit of opening through his hip flexion here. So he's just going to pull that knee into the belly, feel the sensation, making sure the low back is still aiming or touching the mat, reaching that right leg away as we pull this left knee in. Nice. Take a good inhale here into your stretch. And then exhale, release the pulling on the shin, and take the sole of this left foot and put the sole of your left foot up against the right calf muscle. This does not go to the knee. You don't want to push into the knee, especially sideways. Knees don't go sideways. So the sole of that foot is in the calf muscle. Now you can see that Jesse's left knee is up a little bit. What you're doing now is you're still pressing your low back into the mat. And you want to press your low back into the mat evenly. With both hips being pressed evenly on both sides from the back, Jesse's knee is a little bit up in the air. There are some folks that have a lot of room within their hip rotation, and in that particular body, the knee might, and it might be your body, the knee might go all the way to the floor, but it doesn't in Jesse's. His stays up because of tight hip flexors, which is just fine. Keeps some good stability in the hips. So his tree pose from the base, when he comes to standing, is going to have that knee a little bit forward of his body rather than to the side. Now the arms are also involved in tree, so bring your hands to your heart in the prayer position. Press your low back evenly into the mat. Press your shoulders evenly into the mat, and slowly inhale your arms up until you're reaching your fingertips away from that heel. Now with this position, I'm going to give him a little bit more room. And Jesse, open your hands wide apart so your hands reach straight up from your shoulders. So Vrikshasana on his back. The right foot is reaching away, those 3 points, the heel, the pad of the big toe, the pad of the pinky toe, firmly reaching away. The inner edge of the thigh pressing to the mat so that these 2 middle toes are straight up in the air. This left knee is bent, and the sole of that left foot is on the right calf muscle, but he's pressing evenly down with both sides of the low back. The shoulders are also pressing down, and he's stretching his fingers away from his feet. Oh yeah, and he's breathing beautifully. Inhale here, and then exhale and release the posture. Great, let your left leg go straight. Now just pause for a moment and feel how your body feels. One side might feel just a little bit different than the other. Now to even you out, let's draw this right knee into your belly. Holding your hands on the front of that shin, pull that right knee in, finding some good hip flexion on the right side as you reach the heel of the left foot away, taking a nice big stretch. This is an excellent stretch across the pelvic floor as well. Your pelvic floor is a figure 8 shape, so it takes a side to side or an asymmetrical angle stretch. Inhale again into this stretch, pulling the knee to the belly, reaching the left heel away, and then exhale and let go of the stretch. And now take the sole of that foot and put it up against the calf muscle. So now your left leg is straight, reaching straight away from you. Your toes are turning in just a bit so that those 2 middle toes are pointing up. You're pressing evenly with both hips into the mat. On this side of Jesse's body, he's got a little bit more room in this hip, so this knee is a little bit more open. And again, some of you might find that your hips are open enough that that knee goes all the way to the floor. But if the knee goes sideways on Jesse, it lifts up the low back, rotates the pelvis, and we lose the posture. So we want this knee to focus or face wherever it's going to face, while both sides of the low back are pressing evenly into the mat. Bringing your hands back to your heart. Let's go ahead and exhale fully, pushing the low back into the mat, and then inhale and reach your arms up over your head. You can keep the palms together if you have plenty of room in your shoulders, but if this is tight and interfering with the breath in the upper chest, release the hands and just let your arms reach straight away from each other so that there's one hand above each shoulder. Here's your posture, supine vrikshasana. That left heel is reaching away from you. The toes are straight up and down, middle toes aiming to the ceiling. Inner edge of that straight leg pressing towards the mat. Both hips evenly pressing into the mat, and this knee rests wherever it wants to rest. Both shoulders, as well as the low back, pressing into the mat, and fingers reaching away from heels. Excellent. Inhale here into your supine posture, and then exhale and release the posture. Go ahead and bring your knees into your belly, roll to your side, and use whatever that upper arm is to press yourself up, and let's come up to standing. All right, face forward for me, Jesse. So we're going to build Tadasana here. So you want a foot coming underneath each hip point. Your hip points are right here. They're 2 rounded pieces of bone that face forward. These are your as-is points. You want one foot under one as-is point. Then you want those 2 middle toes facing straight away. For most of us, that brings the big toes in just a little bit. Some of you might find that your feet are perfectly parallel. Others of you might find that you feel a little inward rotation. But what you're looking for is a nice straight line from the as-is points to those 2 middle toes. Then pick your toes up and spread your toes. With the toes elevated and spreaded, if that's a word, press down at the base of the big toe, not the toe itself, just the pad. Then press down at the base of the little toe, not the toe itself, just the pad, and notice that your toes kind of spread. This is good. Then find the middle of your heel. So both arches are now engaged. Keeping the engagement of the arches, lay your toes back down. Draw your low belly in, and we call it firming the midline. In firming the midline, you are taking the heads of your femur bones that are back here in the back of these hip sockets, and you're trying to move the heads of your femur bones away from each other. This can also feel like drawing the low belly in or engaging the muscles of your sacrum here in your low back. The way we do this in class is I have everybody squeeze the buttocks. This is a no, this is bringing the femur bones in together, and then release the buttocks and just allow your hips to spread. Once you have found your base, let's go ahead and bring hands to your heart in the Anjali Mudra. It's a little easier to balance when your weight is down on midline. Pour the weight down your left leg. Then pick, and what we're going to do for Jesse, instead of making him balance while I walk around him and push on him, we're going to have Jesse take his right heel and put it on top of that left ankle. So his posture is going to have his right toes still on the mat. So rebuilding the base, you've got the weight coming down the left foot. The toes are resting on the mat, but you're not scrunching your toes. Your right heel is pressing in to your left ankle. Now take your left kidney area and draw it in. And let both hip points, as is points, face straight ahead. With both hip points facing straight ahead, find something to look at that's not moving. Right back through there. You see that water bottle? That would do it. So this is your dristi, or your gazing point. You find something to look at that's not moving, and you hold that point with your focus. Pouring the weight down the left leg, drawing your left kidney area in, keeping both hips facing straight ahead. This is a squaring of the hips pose. We're not trying to open the hip one way or the other, trying to keep both hips squared, and balance. Now find the crown of your head, and as you push down with that left foot, lift with the crown of your head and lift your arms all the way up. And to help you with your balance, reach your fingers away from your feet. Go ahead and let your hands open so the arms are going straight up into the air. So that left foot is pressing down, your left kidney area is drawing in, both hip points are facing straight ahead or squared off, and you're going to reach the crown of your head and your fingers away from your foot. Vrikshasana tree. Be very gentle with yourself on balance. Balance is challenging, and every day your balance can be just a little bit different. Inhale here, and then exhale, your hands come back together and bring them back down to your heart, and then release the posture altogether and shake out that standing leg. Another reason that we're letting Jesse stay with toes to the mat is the spring pollen has attacked his inner ears. They are full of fluid, so his balance is a little bit off today as well. So let's do the other side. So find your Tadasana. Your feet come straight down under your as-is points. Those two middle toes are facing straight away from you. Pick your toes up. Press at the base of the big toe, base of the pinky toe, middle of the heel. When you feel that your arches have engaged, maintain the engagement of the arches of your feet and let your toes lay back down. Pour the weight down your right leg. Imagine your right foot is cementing itself into the ground. Find your gazing point. Hold your gazing point and go ahead and bring your left heel to your right ankle. Those of you that practice bridge and you love this posture and you have nice open hips, tree, thank you, tree, take your left foot if you'd like and you can lift it up to your right calf muscle. Those of you that have a tree practice and you come up higher, if you'd like to take the sole of your foot and put it into your thigh, you can do that as well. There's also a final posture where the foot comes on the outside of the hip, but we'll work on that another time. For balance purposes, with the inner ear issues that Jesse's got, he's going to just have the heel to the ankle. Hips are forward. This is a squaring of the hips pose. So both your as-is points are going forward. Watch that foot. Your standing foot's going to try to run away from you. So make sure that you've got a good platform and you're in Tadasana with the feet. Drawing your right hip in, bring your hands to your heart in the prayer position. You're pressing down with your right foot. You're lifting with the crown of your head. You've got your eyes focused on something that's not moving, and you're breathing. And as you press down with that right foot, as you roll that left kidney area in towards your spine, inhale your arms up and reach your fingers away from your feet. Reach, reach, and then go ahead and open your arms. So to help find stability, you want opposing forces, and you're going to live within those opposing forces. So your foot is pressing down into the mat, not the toes, but those 3 points on the foot. Your hands, your chest, your heart are all reaching up, firming the midline. Tuck your chin just a little bit so that you're parallel to the floor with that jawbone, and breathe. Vrikshasana tree. Excellent. Inhale here, and then exhale. Your hands come back down. Release the posture and shake it out. Well done. Come to your back. So now we're going to relax and wrap up your session. So Jesse, with your knees bent, he's going to come to his back. And again, because of tight shoulders, his head's lifting up, so I'm going to give him just a little bit for his head. And let's release some of the tension in the hips that we've built up with a happy baby. So bringing your knees into your belly, grabbing hold of the outer edge of your feet, letting the soles of your feet come towards the ceiling. You're going to try to reach your shoulders back down to the mat. And if you can, you're going to try and reach your tailbone back down to the mat. Some of you have a back flat enough on the mat or the floor that you can rock side to side. Jesse's tailbone is a little bit high, but I guess you can get it. He's getting some rocking. And as you rock side to side, you're gently rocking across your kidney adrenal areas on either side, giving them a little massage here. Inhale into your happy baby. And then exhale and release the baby. Now bring your knees into your chest and wrap your arms around your legs. Let's do 3 squeezes. Inhale here and exhale. Squeeze yourself into a tiny ball. Tuck the chin, pull your belly back, loosen the squeeze. Inhale, exhale, squeeze, loosen, inhale, exhale, squeeze. It's a final internal massage. And then release and let your legs go long down the mat. Rock your hips side to side until your low back gets comfortable. If your low back is not comfortable, just the shape of your body or tightness in your low hips, you're welcome to build your knees up. You can put a blanket underneath the knees. Then once you've gotten your low back comfortable, let your upper back flatten, whatever you have to do to get your upper back to flatten against the mat. And then let your palms face up and tuck your chin so that you get long in your neck, coming into your Shavasana. Now the session is a shorter session, so the Shavasana can be shorter. This is where we release old patterns of behavior and adopt new patterns based on what you just taught yourself. So we were just working tree. So let your mind go into your hips, down your legs, into your feet, and just melt, releasing any tension that was built up during the practice. And as you melt, you can soften the knees, let your belly soften so that your navel drops towards your spine as you exhale. Let your chest release. You can imagine that your heart is lifting and your shoulders are lowering, melting your shoulders down your arms until your palms feel like puddles. Swallow, releasing through your throat, letting the skin on your cheeks go slack. Allow your tongue to rest gently in the back of your mouth, releasing any conversation with yourself, and instead tuning in to observation of yourself as you observe your body taking on this relaxed shape, as you observe your tongue spreading side to side. Imagine that the front of your body in its entirety is melting into the back of your body, and then allow the back of your body to continue to melt into the mat, to the floor. Take just a few moments here in your Shavasana, observing your breath, your body, and your mind. Releasing any thoughts that keep wanting to bubble up. Just say shh. Allow your mind to return to your breath, return to your body. Taking just a few more moments in this position. All right, now let's go ahead and come out of the Shavasana. So start wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes, and then make circles with your wrists and your ankles, big wide circles one way, and then the other. And then reach your arms up long and stretch your fingers away from your feet. And take some time here. Make space through your belly. Reaching your fingers up, you can flex the feet, pulling the toes back. You can point the toes. You can even pedal so that you reach one side of the body away and then the other side of the body away. And see what you're feeling, especially through your belly. Making space. Go ahead and take one more nice, full, long reach here. Inhale, and then exhale, release. You're doing great. Roll to your right, and take this moment, making a pillow for your head with your arm, and pause. And thank yourself for your practice, enabling the gifts and the benefits to continue to penetrate to every level, including the deepest level. Inhale. And on the exhale, use mostly the strength of your upper arm to press yourself up. And then come back to a comfortable seated posture. So that's on the blankets for both Jesse and myself. If you'd like, you can come back to your chair. back to your blankets, straight to the floor, wherever you're most comfortable, finding yourself in this comfortable seated posture again, and just be for a moment. Feel how your body feels now compared to when you started your session. Notice how your mind is acting now compared to when you started your session. Then I'll invite you to bring your hands back to your heart, pressing the palms, thumbs, and fingers together as you pull your shoulders apart, allowing your heart to lift and open. And this time, you can, if you'd like, bow your head into your lifting and opening heart. And take this moment to honor the truth, the light, and the wisdom existing within every cell of your body. May you be peaceful. May you experience poise, equanimity, and abundance. May you be well. Namaste.